let me know our plan. I just got my things back up on Instagram, so that was good. But yeah, I need to get cash quickly. I get some things to trade. I'm trying to sort out my OnlyFans.
So my contact had been in touch with me regarding Lee Andrews' revelations for several weeks, including the fact that he was trying to make quick cash. She was talking about Lee wanting to do a GoFundMe, write a book, do these big tell-all interviews. And I was sort of thinking, this is all sounding very desperate. But I was quite shocked when he sent me the voice note with Lee explaining that he was prepared to sell an alleged sex tape of him and his wife.
I could always release my sex tape with my wife, but I might go for a pretty penny. Yeah, there's a short one of that, but that's between you and me. See if a newspaper will pay for that, £250,000 quid.
So I wanted to do the story because I thought it was really important to expose him, and including the voice note was vital to prove that this is the man that he was. And the way he spoke about his wife behind her back and their alleged sex tape, saying it would make a pretty penny, which is just really blasé and horrible.
I was first contacted by a contact of mine who works and lives in Los Angeles back in March, and they came to me and they said, have you heard that there's this sex tape being touted around? And I hadn't heard it before. I mean, bear in mind, this was only 2 months after they'd been married. And I just couldn't believe it in a way, but they had so much detail. The money tallied up when I heard the voice note that he wanted a £250,000 advance and he wanted cash quick. He really thought that there'd be a lot of interest in this tape. And, you know, luckily there wasn't. And he was ignored. But I think it just shows the kind of depravity that you're looking at with the man that is Lee Andrews.
What's really gross is that afterwards, in text messages, he said, oh, I've watched my wife's sex tape with Dane Bowers, her ex-boyfriend, and my manhood is healthier and bigger than Dane's, wink. Which is kind of disgusting, isn't it? Just to reduce all of it to a bit of a kind of bravado showing off of his body. That's what he sees the situation to be, just a huge trip down his ego. And I think that people who have supported Katie Price and are fans of hers are now concerned that she's with someone who doesn't have her best interests at heart. And certainly Lee does not seem to have that. He only is interested in himself, making money, getting himself off the hook legally. And it feels like to him, Katie is just another cash cow.
Yeah, I need to get cash quickly. I get some things to trade. I'm trying to sort out my OnlyFans. I could always release my sex tape with my wife, but I might go for a pretty penny. Yeah, there's a short one of that, but that's between you and me. See if a newspaper will pay for that, £250,000 quid.
Whether the tape exists or not, the point is her husband is claiming it exists and is trying to sell it for financial gain. Like, that's actually sickening. Why anyone would do that, why she would stand by him knowing that he said this. So even if she puts it down to another one of his farcical lies, how many more disgusting lies does he have to tell? I mean, this is him claiming to have intimate X-rated footage of her, which he is willing to put out in the world for money. Now, if that happened without her consent, that is revenge porn. She's putting herself at risk by staying with him.
She's saying that she hasn't made a sex tape, which to her knowledge might be true, but certainly this voice note is real. And the fact that her husband, Lee Andrews, was trying to sell an alleged sex tape behind her back in secret to make a quick buck is real. So exposing him just felt really important. Also, it's important that we are aware as women that there are still men out there who are prepared to stoop this low. And I think that it is really important that people are aware in general that, you know, with the rise of revenge porn, I think that people have to be careful with anyone they're with intimately, and if they're in a situation, do they really trust that person? And clearly Lee Andrews is not someone to be trusted. The contact who I was speaking to quite rightly pointed out to Lee that any kind of sex tape that had been taken behind someone's back in secret was illegal. And obviously no one would publish that. So obviously Lee is then going to backtrack and cover his back.
He wasn't joking about it. That's why it was being touted around in March. Lee will deny the sky is blue. He will say a dog is a cat. Anything that man can do to lie his way out of things, he will do. The man is a liar.
Katie has millions and millions of followers, and I think a lot of people thought that I was trying to say that she had taken part in a sex tape, which wasn't what I was trying to say. I wanted to set the record straight and actually say, no, I am exposing her husband, Lee Andrews, as a horrible, vile human being who is trying to sell an alleged sex tape, whether it exists or not. And here is the proof, here is the voice note, please listen to it and make up your own mind. And I totally understand that she must be hugely upset and angry. I would be if I'd found out my husband was trying to do something like that behind my back. But I really hope that the voice note helps her see sense and finally give her enough strength and proof to walk away from him.
I could always release my sex tape with my wife, but I might go for a pretty penny. Yeah, there's a short one of that, but that's between you and me.
I don't think this will be the final straw for Katie, unfortunately. I wish it was. I don't know what will be the final straw for Katie. She seems completely obsessed and enamoured with this man, no matter how many times we've raised red flags, no matter how many stories of his victims we have told, his ex-partners that we've spoken to, that we know have reached out to Katie and spoken to her and warned her about what Lee is like. She keeps going back to him. It beggars belief that she's choosing to stay with this man.
She's a clever woman. She's a businesswoman at the end of the day. And from what I've heard, she's speaking to the documentary makers who made her Sky documentary. And I think she's compiling all these voice notes and evidence to do a Tinder swindler type expose. I think that she is finally seeing sense. But Katie being Katie, she won't just walk away. She'll do it on her terms, and she'll do it with something in her back pocket to secure her future.
Lee's family always stood by him at the start, especially his sister. He has a close school friend who would always, especially me, come onto my social media. They'd respond to any articles I wrote calling me a liar, saying that the claims from these women, that they were fantasists, that this was all made up. But finally, I think in the past couple of weeks, the tables have turned, and really now his family is starting to see that actually there is evidential proof behind what we've been writing. We've said it all along. We've shown the proof. We've given it. And they finally realise that actually he is a wrong 'un. I think that's incredibly difficult for his family. Obviously, he's a brother, he's a son. That's really difficult to handle, but I know that they did issue an apology. They issued it on Facebook, I think, to say that they were sorry for basically not believing what was being said.
Anyone who, anyone who's got a friend, a sister, a cousin, aunt who is in a relationship this abusive, you'd really hope that they would see sense and get out of it. And, there are lots of women who are involved in relationships with coercive control and not very nice men. So I think it is, really important that we raise awareness of these sorts of people. But also, I really do hope it's the last straw for Katie, and I do hope that she sees sense. Her poor family have been through enough worrying about her, so they must be at their absolute wits' end.
Sadly, I don't think this is the beginning of the end for Lee. I'd love it to be the beginning of the end because I can't bear him. I'm so bored of writing about him, but I keep doing it because I want to keep spreading the message, because unfortunately, despite our warnings, people are still falling for scams. People are still engaging with him. I think this man is dangerous, in my opinion. I think if he ever contacted you, you should be really worried, especially if he asks for your bank account details or starts asking about investments. I don't know when this is going to end. I feel like I have lost faith in Dubai's judicial system. I feel like his ex-partners have. I feel like the victims of his crimes have, because nothing is happening. You can report it to your authorities. So, for example, we know he's been reported to the FBI in America. We know he's been reported to local UK police forces. And our police force over here, they pass it over to Dubai because the alleged crime happened in their jurisdiction. And it's the same with the United States. It happened in their jurisdiction. They can't do anything unless Lee Andrews comes here or touches down in the US, which isn't going to happen. So ultimately, he floats around Dubai, he goes into jail, he comes out again. How he's paying the fines, we still don't know. And I just feel like we're caught in this vicious loop cycle where actually justice for the things that he has done and he is accused of, I don't think he will ever face proper justice and have to answer questions over what he's done.